Hey everybody, it's Mary Jo from MaryjoesCreations, and it is day 7. Welcome to day 7 of Vlogmas. If you're new here, I hope you stick around. If you're not, thank you so much for coming back. All of your support has been very nice, and I appreciate it greatly. I'm tired, y'all. I am so tired. Let's look at the calendar. And day 6 is over. Welcome to day 7. Day 7 of Vlogmas. It's getting closer. And we're going to see what we can get done today. Not much, but we'll see. Let's get going. Hey guys. I'm working on this right here. Now, I'm sorry. I have no idea because I can't remember exactly what I did yesterday. But I think I showed you this in a video. And this is from this leftover skein that I have. And there's not a lot left in here. It's just like this tiny bit. And I'm just trying to get rid of it. And I think I did a video showing you when I started, but I can't remember right now. Sorry, I'm tired. But this is what it's looking like so far. And it's actually really weird because I'm not color pooling. Or color controlling. Sorry. I'm not color controlling at all. And it's doing that on its own. I don't know if you could see that, but it's like giving me almost like perfect sections. I don't know. I'm digging it. I like the way it's coming out. I don't know how big it's going to be because, again, it's only this much left, and this is basically like a scrap yarn project. I'm just trying to get rid of this yarn. And I couldn't think of what to do with it because it was so little of it. I used this is left over from my Hexie cardigan. And so I'm just going to work on this and just going to work until the yarn is all gone. And once the yarn is gone, then we're done with another whip. And I don't know if it's going to stay that size. To be honest with you, I have no idea. I don't know how long it's going to be. So until I see that, do I really want to spend money on another skein? Maybe. I honestly don't know. I do know that I don't mind working with a 3-weight yarn if I'm going to be making like a shawl. Or the cardigan, I didn't like it too much. But it was okay. It was okay. If you've watched my last few videos, you will know that we are not fond of making blankets with it. Or at least not baby blankets. And I don't see the point of making a blanket with 3-weight yarn unless it's for a baby. And honestly, it's not for me. I know there are a lot of you out there. There are a lot of people out there who love to crochet baby blankets with 3-weight yarn. All I gotta tell you is that I am not one of them. But I don't mind this right here. If all I'm doing is like a granny stitch with the 3-weight yarn and turning it into a shawl, or doing a hexie, and again, I think that I would say the shawl would be the only thing I would willingly want to make. If someone would want a cardie like I made mine, and they're willing to pay for it, sure. But other than that, I'm not working with this yarn. It's just not for me. A shawl? Sure. No problem. If you want a granny stitch shawl in this yarn, not a problem. Anything other than that? Oh, and like I said, maybe a hexie if someone is because it just takes longer. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I've made so many cardies at this point in so many different yarns, and that would probably be a fun video, showing you all of the cardigans that I've made, the hexie cardigans that I've made, and I think every single, or almost every single one of them is in a different style of yarn. I have 3-weight, I have one in loops and threads, I have one in big twist, I have one in, I have a few in loops and threads, but different yarn. There's like the classic solid one. I think I have one like that. I have one in their variegated yarn or striped yarn or whatever that is, that the texture is, I don't really care for it. It has to be the right project for it. And it's, to me, it feels like a fancy yarn, like almost silky, but I don't care for it. But it did come out really pretty in the hexie cardigan, and it's actually like one of my favorite cardigans. One of the first ones I made, actually. I also have one made out of Hobby Lobby yarn. I love this yarn. And they're all, even though it's all more or less the same stitch, they all look different. They all look completely different. And I love all of them. What am I doing? This is the second time I did that. But I do love all of them. But all of this to say that, like, you know, I think there are certain yarns that are only good for certain things. Or at least for me. If you like working with 3-weight yarn, there are people that like working with 3-weight yarn. There are people that work with 2-weight yarn, which I have some and I have to use it, and I am dreading having to use it. Although I know it's going to make a lovely and beautiful I don't know if I'm going to make a shawl or make some kind of a shirt. And I know it's going to be beautiful, but do I want to work with the 2-weight yarn? No. I might double it because I have different colors. And I have an idea for that too, but that's not going to be till January. But anyway, I know all of you there. I know that there are some of you that really like to work with 3-weight yarn. And God bless you, because no. And this isn't even like the fuzzy 3-weight yarn that I've worked with, because I think like there's one from Michael's that's, is it Impeccable? That's a 3-weight yarn, and it feels nothing like this. It's a little bit thicker than this. And this, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's not rough, it's soft. I don't think it's rough. I think it's it is soft. And I don't know. Maybe if like it was a blanket for an adult in a granny stitch, like I'm doing this, but make it in a granny square, maybe that would look nice in a blanket, but I wouldn't do it for a baby. I would only use this yarn maybe if like, you know, for an adult who like doesn't like heavy blankets and just wants a lightweight blanket. But I wouldn't do, in this yarn, the only stitch that I like to do is the granny stitch. That's it. I haven't tried the V-stitch with it. I don't know how. Oh, yes, I did, in that blanket. And it didn't look bad, but it was too holy for me. See? It's pretty and it's light if you want something like this, especially like a shawl or maybe a cover-up or something, you know, like a lightweight, maybe like, again, a blanket, but for an adult, where it's like just a giant granny square. But any other, no, I don't want to do any other stitch with this. But anyway, I was ranting again. At least this time it wasn't for that long. I'm going to work on this. And let's see where it goes. I ran out of yarn like I knew I was going to run out of yarn. Hold on. There's not even enough to make the V, I don't think. But it's not bad. I mean, like, for the fact that it wasn't even half a skein, I'm going to put a stitch marker here. I'm actually going to put a plastic one so there's no weight on it, because it's not done, but it's all I can do. But this is what we got so far. And I really do actually like the way it looks. So what I might do is put this aside, because there's nothing more I can do with it, and decide on, I think I might eventually buy another skein and just finish off the entire skein, and that way I will have a nice shawl. But for now, and I like the way that it, when I put it on, if it was longer, it would like sit beautifully over my shoulders. So I really like it this way. I don't know why I did it this way, but this isn't normally how I do it, but I really do like it this way. And like I said, I will see whether or not I want to use this as like some kind of bandana or headscarf, maybe. And if I'm going to do that, then I have enough to finish this off where I can just pull this back all the way down to here, and that should be enough to do a single crochet all the way around, all the way to the other end here, because I'm not putting anything on the top. The way I did it, I think it looks beautiful. It looks clean, and I'm going to leave it that way. See how that looks clean? The edge looks nice and straight. Look at that. I surprised myself. If I want to use it as a headscarf, I will, like I said, rip it back, do a single crochet, and then it will be completed. Hey guys, so I have to be going to a birthday party soon, and I'm going to be wearing a cardigan that I made with this same yarn here. And I kind of wanted to do a cuff to go along with it, because recently I've been liking to wear cuffs on my left wrist. And wearing them on two is too much, and I don't like anything on my right wrist. I don't know why. I'm weird, but that shouldn't surprise anyone who's been around for, you know, a little while. And I'm almost done. I'm just doing single crochets all around the top. And I will show you my scrunchie. I just did a scrunchie so that I can have everything that matches. And this I'm making from scraps. If you remember, this is the same yarn from that cardigan that I made that kids cardigan that I just made. And it's the same yarn. And I have a bunch of little scraps. And I still don't know what I'm going to do with that yarn. I don't know if I am going to make a hexie cardigan or if I'm going to make a bunch of squares and maybe make a blanket with it. I don't know. I don't know honestly what I want to do with the yarn. Because I'm not a real big fan of the yarn. I think that's more than enough. I don't want it to be super, super long. If I do decide to make granny squares, those little scraps will be great to do like the center of a bunch of squares. I have like maybe 5 or 6 scraps that are like this, and they will be great to do the center of squares. Just tie them onto a bigger piece and just, you know, go. But I don't know, and you know, if you know me, it's, especially when it comes to like, especially cardigans, but when it comes to like wearables, I know this might sound strange to some people, but it has to speak to me. It has to speak to me, man. Sometimes I might do, you know, I might have a idea in mind, and then when I start looking at the yarn or start working with the yarn, sometimes it changes. And sometimes it's because of the way it works up. Sometimes it's because of the way it feels. If you know me, you know that I'm really not a sweater person, but I love me a cardigan. Like, for real. I love cardigans because if I get hot, I could take it off. And if I get cold, I could put it on. And I mean, I guess technically you can do that with sweaters. But if you're out, I mean, and don't get me wrong, if I always have a tank top underneath. Always. Because I do get hot. Always have since I was a teenager. Since I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. And I've always, like, this for me right here is way too much. Like, but I'm going to wear it. But it is, like, suffocating me. I get very hot, and I don't like it. So, let's see how this looks. Oh, yeah. Isn't that pretty? And it matches, like I said, my cardigan. So this is the cardigan that I'm going to be wearing. And it was one of my first, and it's beautiful. And this yarn is not my favorite yarn, but it is wonderful in this cardigan. I don't think I would make, you know, like a sweater and I made a tank top with it, and I don't really care for it too much. But I think, like, I do love this one. I don't know if I want to make another one in a mix of blues and purples and pinks, or if I just want to make granny squares and make a nice fancy blanket. I don't know. If you have an opinion, let me know. What do you think? Because this yarn is a very weird texture. It's not fluffy like regular I don't think I even have any in the room. Like regular loops and threads. You know how like loops and threads is fluffy and it's soft. This is more like a ropey yarn. And it is warm, don't get me wrong. It is rather heavy though too. Like this is a heavy cardigan. I think this weighs a pound and 12 ounces or something like that. This is like a really heavy cardigan. So it might make a nice like weighted blanket. Because I don't know if I want another cardigan in this yarn. And I don't know if I want to make a cardigan in this yarn to put up on my website. I don't know. Because I don't think I'm ever going to buy this kind of yarn again. And I was just trying to get rid of what I have. Because, like I think I said in another video, I bought this yarn when I was first starting to buy yarn. And I really, like, didn't know the difference. And I ordered it online. And I didn't get a chance to feel it. You know, I ordered it from Michael's website. And I just, at that time, when I first started, I was very naive. And I thought that all yarn was the same. Yeah. It's not. So, I bought a ton of it. And I did make 2 doll blankets with matching pillows. And I have those. I can show you those. And this was the scrunchie I made to go with the cardigan. So I can match. And I know that, what was I saying? I didn't get to feel the yarn. And I didn't know what it felt like. So I just saw pretty colors. And I was like, okay. And I ordered a bunch of it. It was nice in the blanket. But again, that was around a year ago. I made it for a present, but I never got to give the present, so I still have them. And at that time, I really didn't know. I was basically stuck on like half double crochets, and I hadn't tried doing a granny stitch yet, so I didn't know much. I had just like pretty much got down the single, half double, and double crochet. So this was very early into my crochet journey, and I think I made the entire blanket out of half double crochets. Now, I think I'm going to do a different stitch the next time I do those, but I would like to make a bunch of blankets like that and put them up on the website. Because, you know, every little girl wants to have a blanket for their doll. I made one for my granddaughter. She wanted one for her doll, so I made her one. And they don't take very long to work up. I mean, it's just like a rectangle. It's not very hard. But all that to say, I don't know what to do with this yarn. And I really don't think I want another cardigan, because as much as I love this one, this isn't my favorite yarn to work with. And it is kind of scratchy. And I haven't washed it yet. So, not scratchy. It's not rough. It's just not the softest thing in the world. But I do have to say it is warm. It is a good, warm, and heavy yarn. And that's why I'm thinking maybe a blanket, but in granny squares. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with granny squares lately. I have no idea. But Let me know what you think. And I'm going to go and I will finish up this video when I get back. Alright, well, I'm home, and I did not film anything while I was out. But I did, and I know this is almost finished, but I did finish the border in the car. And I just put a half double crochet, I don't know if you can see it, just a half double crochet border around. And I finished the yarn. There was only like that much left. It's in my bag somewhere. But I finished it. And I don't know if I want to buy another skein and turn it into a giant shawl. Because, I mean, this can be like a giant bandana or hair wrap. I'm not going to do it, but maybe tomorrow. I'm tired. Or I can buy another skein because I think this looks so beautiful. And, you know, if you watched my other videos, you know that I don't really care for working with 3-weight yarn. But when it's done like this, especially in a granny stitch, it's so flowy and it's so pretty. It does take a little bit, just a little bit longer to work up because it is such a thin yarn. But it really is so beautiful. And I think it came out so gorgeous that I kind of want to go and hopefully find one more skein in this color, which I think this is called Groot. And one skein is like 500 and, I think 500 and something yards. I can't off the top of my head remember how many yards it is right now, but I do know it's more than 500. And I believe all that I would need would be just one more skein, and I can use the whole thing up and just work this up. Because, you know, the bigger it gets, the more yarn you're going to use. So I don't know how big it would get with 500 yards, but it would get to a decent size. And I could use it all up so there's nothing left over. Because when I buy, if I do buy this yarn again in a, like this 3-weight yarn, and I love this yarn, but if I get the Mandela 3-weight yarn, I'm going to make sure that I have enough to finish the entire project. Or, which I didn't think of before, but, or what I could do is, actually, you know what? See, my mind is so strange. It would really look nice, too, to make a bunch of these and then sew them together and make a blanket. And it would be a nice, lightweight blanket. But in pieces, like, make another one of these, right? And sew it and make it the middle. Make it the same exact size and make like a square. And then just go around the whole thing until, instead of making, and I was thinking of making a shawl, but now I'm thinking of, that would be a really cool blanket. And I still think one skein would be enough. And if it's not, now that I have that idea, if it's not, I can always, like, just save them up and just make a bunch of blankets with the scraps once I have enough. I don't know. My mind is racing now because I just thought of that, and I think that would be so cool. Let me know if you think that that would be a cool idea, because it wouldn't be that hard to attach them. And I think that would look nice. But anyway, this is what I finished today. I also made this cuff today and my scrunchie today. And I made one more thing. Well, almost one entire thing. Also, let me know if you think that it's okay for me to mark that off my whip list, even though it's technically not completed, because it is going to be part of something, but whether it's going to be a full-blown shawl or a blanket, I don't know whether I should take it off my whip list, because technically that portion is done. But you let me know, and I'm tired and I can't think straight. The last thing I did was this square. Now, I don't know if I showed anybody. If not, I will show you tomorrow. Regardless, I will show you tomorrow. For Halloween, I made a hexie cardigan in Halloween colors. And it came out so beautiful. It has a hood. It's very oversized. It's like the biggest one I've made so far. And I think it came out gorgeous. I believe I put buttons on it too. And I made these two squares. I made this one. And I made this one. And they were going to be pockets. But for some reason, I didn't like the way the pockets looked on it, so I didn't add the pockets. And then I was left with two squares. And at first, my thought was to make some kind of a sweater with it. But now, since I apparently have become obsessed with making granny square blankets for some reason, I thought that it would be nice to use up the rest of this Halloween yarn, because I still have more in different colors in there, in that cardigan that I'm making in there that will be finished this week. Tomorrow, I'm working on the blanket, the baby blanket that I want finished. That will be done by tomorrow, some way, somehow. And the next thing I'm going to work on will definitely be the hexie cardigan that I started for Halloween to put up on my website that I never finished. That's a whip that I want to get done. And then that extra leftover Halloween yarn, I was thinking that I think that might be cool, making a bunch of granny squares and making a Halloween blanket out of the leftover yarn. And for some reason, I like making these big squares. They take no time at all, and I think that you could make a decent sized blanket with this. So I made this orange one, and I was thinking we can have do 2 squares of just 2 colors, and then of all the yarn that I have left, and then mix and match, take one of the other colors, do the orange. This was just the colors that were in my room, so I just did them. But I have more colors that were like the ones that are in my cardigan that I can add to it once that cardigan is done. And I think I might have enough yarn to make a decent size, enough squares to make a decent size blanket. I think I have enough yarn to make enough squares to make a decent sized blanket. Wow, I'm tired. And so now I just got home a little while ago and took a little break because it did take a lot out of me. But I think I'm going to finish this square and edit this video so I can have it up for you by tomorrow. And, you know, why don't we just finish this square right here? And I'll chat just for a few minutes while I make this square, because we did knock out a few whips this week, which for the first week of Vlogmas, I think I did pretty good. I did get a hat and a scarf done, which I'm so happy with, and she loved it. It was for a 5-year-old, and she absolutely loved it, and I'm just like so thrilled that she liked it as much as she did. It's so good. It's such a good feeling when you make something for someone and they truly appreciate it. And she made me so happy when I saw her wearing it. But I did get the hat and the scarf done, which was not on the schedule, but we got it done. And the blanket we didn't get to, but that's okay. We are going to finish that tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to finish anything else tomorrow, but I am going to finish that up tomorrow. I have gotten some squares done. I don't know if I think I did film it, but I am going to make a video of everything that I did this week. And it'll probably be Monday's video. Or maybe that'll be the blanket video. I don't know. But it will be a video that you're getting next week. And I will recap everything that I've done so far. And I will let you know what's been taken off of my list. I haven't added anything, which is good. I did do the blanket, the scarf, the blanket scarf, and the hat for her, but that was a birthday present that I completely not forgot, but between Thanksgiving and starting Vlogmas, it slipped my mind. So I didn't add that to my whip list because it was, started and finished within, 2 days? In 2 days, I made a hat and a scarf set. That's not bad, I don't think. But I did get a lot of whips crossed off my list. I think 6 or 7. And these granny squares were on my list. So I do want to have all of them done before the 25th and maybe have this blanket put together before the 25th. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do the cardigan, right? The blanket is next, and then the cardigan. And then I got to see how many more whips I have. And then I think I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of different granny squares. We have the 2 granny squares a day that are going to get done, and I have to catch up on those because I'm supposed to have, at this point, I'm supposed to have what? We're 7 right now in my time. We're 6 days in. So I should have 12 squares. And I know I don't have 12 squares. So I want to do a video where I'm catching up with all those squares. And I have right now at least 3 projects that are all granny squares. So I think that might be a fun video to do, you know, some granny squares for each project. Maybe like 2 for each. And see how many in a day I can get done. Finish up the ones that I need to catch up on for that. The granny squares that I'm doing for the Christmas blanket. Oh, which is not even Christmas colors. They are scrap yarn. But we have that granny square blanket. We have the other granny squares that I'm making that I still don't know what the hell I'm doing with those. I think I'm going to make a cardigan, but I have no clue. And now we have these that are going to be turned into a blanket. I think these colors are too loud. I have enough. That cardigan that I made, it's awesome, but it's definitely loud. And I think it would be so fun to have a funky blanket. Okay, I think I'm gonna, how many? I'm talking and I'm not paying attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be a 6 round square with a single crochet border. And I think I might single crochet them together. So this purple is done right now. Because I'm not making any more squares tonight. I am done. Because I have to edit this video. And it's a little bit late, but sitting in here is comfortable for me. I love this chair. And I'm going to finish this square. I'm not going to... I think I'm done for the night for crocheting. And then I'll just edit the video. And get it up for you. And since we're in my room today, I am going to give you a sneak peek of that blanket that I'm making with the blanket yarn. Because I believe I had mentioned it, that in my room I was also making a blanket with blanket yarn. And I'm going to show it to you when I'm done with this square. And now, I have one more sweater that I have in here. And that will get started when I'm done with these squares. Or maybe that'll probably get started sometime this week. depending on, how I feel and what I want to work on, because I have 3 projects in here and they're all very different. These granny squares for the blanket, this giant granny square blanket. I just realized it's another granny square, but it's just one giant granny square blanket with the blanket yarn, and the sweater that I'm working on that's my design. Don't know how long that one's gonna take, but probably a couple of days once I start working on it. But they are very different projects, because these are small granny squares. That blanket is just a large granny square. So it's just going around and around in a circle. I mean, in a circle. In a square. I'm losing my mind, y'all. I'm tired. And I think that, and that's working up actually very fast. And if I sit down for an hour a night, I get a decent amount done. Now, I think I had 5 skeins of yarn for this project, and I believe I've already used 3. I think I only have 2 skeins left. And I can average about, if I do like sit here for a good hour, hour and a half, I can probably get like 1 skein or half a, I can't, maybe about more than half a skein. But I'm not sure how much more. I'm really tired right now, so I'm sorry if I'm all over the place more than normal, but I think that by the end of next week, I will definitely have that blanket finished as well. And I think I can knock out the majority of my whips. And if I get all the big stuff done, if I get all the stuff that I want done, and all I'm left with is the spinner and the tank top, I might finish that. But if I don't finish those during Vlogmas, I'll be okay with that. Because I still want to make some Christmas presents. Or not Christmas presents, although I think I do have to make a hat. Christmas items. I want to make a Christmas sweater for myself. And I would like to make a Christmas sweater to put up on the website. But that blanket has to get done first. And I don't think the cardigan is going to take me long. The whip that's in my workroom, because one sleeve is done entirely. I believe it's connected and everything. All I need to do is the second sleeve, and that's more than halfway done. So I think we'll be okay with that. And if I can get that finished by like the middle of next week, then I can start the Christmas one. I don't know. I'm ranting. I'm almost done with this square. You know, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I do watch a few vloggers, and Michelle, I can't remember her last name right now. I love watching her, and I know it starts with a J, but I can't remember it. I will try to remember and let you know. But she's awesome, and I like her a lot because she's a lot like me. She might buy yarn for one thing and then end up making something different. And that's why I don't specifically buy yarn for projects. Unless it's a hexie cardigan. If I buy yarn for projects specifically, I'll end up making something completely different by the time I start working with the yarn. And so I just buy yarn that I like and figure out what to do with it when I get home and think about it, because I know that it'll change at least 4 or 5 times before I actually get a project done. But what we've all been waiting for, I did get 2 squares done today, just not for what I was supposed to. But they are done. So now we have this one. Oh, sugar. I was supposed to do a single crochet border around it. You know what? Since we cut it off, let's do something a little different. And let's add this purple. You know, sometimes you don't realize how well you made a project until you have to take it apart. Because it's not as easy as you think to take something apart. No, you know what? I am going to add the orange. I'll tie the orange back on because I do want them to be the same. If I decide to use this color combo again, then I'll do different, but I want to finish off with orange. And I'm sure I will be using this color combo one more time because there is quite a bit of yarn left. Which, that's why I'm glad. I think it's going to make some great I think I'm going to have a good amount of squares. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm supposed to be doing a single crochet. I could have just left it and y'all wouldn't know. But I didn't want to do that. You can tell I'm tired. My hands are like, I need a break. I need a break. Just a few more stitches. I think this is my third corner. Okay, it is definitely time that I need to stop because, oh, my feet are going numb and so is, and my back is hurting me and my hands don't want to work right. This should be my last corner. And I think it took us like 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, to do the border, so that's not bad. Of course it did. Alright, now we're done. I like to give it a little stretch. And if you don't know, I don't block. Alright. And they are the same size. Good job. Good job. We did it. So we have 2 squares that are the same but different. And then we have 2 squares that are the same but different. And I think they're going to look great together in a blanket. And I don't know how many of these I will need to make a decent sized blanket, but guess what? We're going to figure it out. Just not right now. I hope everybody has a good night, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Oh, I'm tired. If you've stuck around this long, I hope you liked the video. Hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button because I already said when I reach 50 subscribers, I am going live. And if you want to have a live with me and have a chat, hit that subscribe button. And hit that little bell if you want to be notified when I'm on. And have, you know, a front row seat to the train wreck. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.